Today on Clear Your Clutter Inside and Out, we're talking about wisdom cards. Do you know what oracle cards are and how they can support you in accessing your intuition? How can wisdom decks support you in clearing your clutter? Would you like to know how to choose the best set for you? Learn how to use wisdom cards as we continue our month focusing on replenishment and rejuvenation. Do you control your clutter, or does your clutter control you? On Clear Your Clutter Inside and Out, we'll teach you awareness as well as action steps to create change in your life. Come on, let's get started. Today's episode was inspired because I have begun to use the oracle decks again. And I love, springtime is about, in this month on the podcast, about rejuvenation, replenishment. It's about spring. It's about all that goodness. And I've rediscovered the cards. And I wanted to share those with you. I had someone who I was going to interview and they flaked out. And what I decided to do is just get a little cheeky and ask the questions. When I prepare for an interview, I have a couple questions and then obviously prefer to have a conversation. So I just kept the questions and I'm going to answer them. We're also going to do something wild and crazy today, guys. As I mentioned, someone was supposed to come on, and I thought, well, I've already have the month planned. I use decks, so why not do something with what I have? So I have 5 decks. And listen, guys, I use them, so it's not clutter. Remember that. And I sat and had thought of questions to ask. I matched them together with the 5 decks. And so we're going to have a group reading. Whoever is listening or watching the podcast, there's a message for you. I am not on Facebook as much, but I know when I see, someone puts up a spread or pick the card for the message for you, I almost always do that. And I know a lot of people like this and get excited about that. So I wanted to share that today. And let me know. Shoot me an email and let me know if any message in particular was very significant for you. But 5 different questions, going to be show and tell. So if you're at the podcast, you can watch and see the pretty cards, but I'm excited to do that. And if this works and people enjoy it, I'll do one of these once a year. I don't know if we need more than one of these, but I think this was just a fun kind of different episode we're going to have today. So let's enjoy some show and tell. And thank the awesome kindergarten teacher out there who invented show and tell. How awesome is that? What are oracle cards? They may also be called divination cards, or a lot of times people refer to them as decks. I usually tend to call them a deck. I also like to use wisdom cards, the term instead of oracle. The reason why I wanted to share these is because they allow you to access your own intuition. And it's something I'm really encourage you to do. If you don't use a deck of cards, the intuition and the oracle cards, find another tool. And this is just another tool in your toolbox. My dear teacher, Judy, always used to say, I'm teaching you some tools for your toolbox. Go out and explore, find other things that work here. Our inner wisdom is here for a reason. And this is just one way I wanted to show you. It's so important. Your intuition is to help you and support you. And we don't listen to that, we can get in trouble and it can guide us. So this is just a tool that I wanted to share today. So oracle cards, most have 44 cards, although I have one that I think has 72. I'll double check on that. It's going to be our show and tell, guys. It's going to be really fun. We'll get to that in a moment. We're just going to get a little crazy and do something differently that I'm really excited about. I've read, again, the range can be 20 to 144. There are no rules with oracle cards. How cool is that? And the reason they're not so strict is you can figure out the best way to work with them. These are for you. You'll find a deck that resonates with you, but it's about you. It's not a very structured set, which I'll talk about momentarily. One of the questions I was going to ask, because I don't consider myself an expert, I'm definitely a user of cards, can I call them wisdom cards? And my response is sure. I'm going to say yes, because there aren't any rules. How are oracle cards different than tarot cards? You might have seen tarot and think that it's that. No, it's completely different. So the tarots are very structured. It has suits. It has 22 major arcana cards, 4 court cards in each minor suit, and it ends up with a total of 78 cards. That's pretty much a standard number, although I read that sometimes there'll be 79 people throwing an unknown or wild card or something like that. But it's very structured. If you're interested in learning tarot, then I would suggest taking a class. There are lots of cool things and that you can use and do different spreads and things like that. And that's, again, another tool in your toolbox for accessing your intuition. How can the cards support us in clearing our clutter? Spiritually, they can help us access our soul, our inner wisdom, our deepest knowledge without the ego. The ego kind of clears. This is for accessing your wisdom. That's what I love about it. It can allow you to hear your soul's voice. Also can support you in kind of releasing mental clutter. These cards, when you do them, and we'll talk about that momentarily, they can help you focus. They can help you clear clutter. It can help you kind of clear the gunk, clear the head noise, the fuzziness, and focus. And perhaps maybe you need to reach a decision. They're going to allow you to get really clear. And one of the things they can support you in clearing emotional clutter is because it allows you to get neutral. Just the facts, ma'am. Not all that, you're trying to make a decision and your heart's in it. And, I talked in another episode this month about a situation where Athena, our cat, went missing, and I was so emotional. And I went by the house. I know that that's where she was. I ended up talking to an animal communicator because I didn't trust myself because I was so emotional. This is baby girl Athena. And the deck is another way to kind of let that emotional stuff, let's get clarity, let's focus and release the emotion behind it. What's the best way to choose a deck? Whatever feels right. Say you go into a store and something catches your eye. That's a good little sign right there. In person, you might need to be someone that needs to see and feel and touch, or you might be someone that can go online and get a vibe and say, this feels good. You might follow someone that's created a deck. Someone you're like, wow, I really like their work. They have an oracle card deck. Fantastic. That's the kind of still yourself. You can still yourself if you're in a busy bookstore. And what deck am I drawn to? What deck is really going to support me right now in my life? And as you'll see in a moment, I have 5 decks. I use them for different things. I like them. They're a great pick-me-up. And see what you're guided to. How can you use our oracle cards? There are a ton of different ways. I sometimes will pull a card in the morning. What's my daily inspiration? To kind of help visualize my day, to get my day started in a good frame of mind. Sometimes I'll pull one at night. I believe they can help my dream state. Okay, what is it that we can work out or kink out in my dream, or what message can be delivered to me in my dreams that I need to know? They can help you focus and make decisions. If you are thinking, should I do A or should I do B? You can do different spreads. So say if you're looking at a question and you want to know what's important for me to know, what do I have to avoid, and final outcome. Again, decks all come with instructions and they will go into more detail about that, but you can do wider spreads. I haven't seen anyone do the tarot I know can do like a 7-card spread, and I can't remember if people do more than 7 cards. So when I've used them, I've done 1 or 2, maybe 3, not more than that. But again, just the main thing for the oracle cards is for guidance. What is it you want to know? What would you like to focus on? And in a few moments, I'm going to give you some suggestions for questions you can ask. So how do you begin? You've got your deck of cards, you're home. What's next? Now, I'll be honest. When I get a new deck of cards, and some people might disagree with that, I just open them up, shuffle them, and whatever I feel moved to ask, I ask. Right off the bat, I want to know an answer to something. And that's how I use them. Some people say, you know what, you need to get time, get acquainted with them, read the book, touch the cards, get a feel for them. If that works for you, do that. I don't think there's any right or wrong here. Again, it's about what I would encourage you to get in tune with your intuition. What does your soul say? Okay, close my eyes and focus. Should I grab one right out of the box, or should I spend time getting acquainted with everything? Begin by asking a question. Now, I'm a fan of being in a quiet place where you can be relaxed, you're undisturbed, and it can have your full attention. Don't be texting on your iPhone and trying to pull a card. Set the intention to connect with your inner guidance. You can shuffle the deck as you repeat the question. We are going to do show and tell today with some of my decks, but what I did prior to the shooting this, filming this, doing this episode was I set the intention. What is it that the people who are listening and watching need to hear? What is most important for their soul to hear? And I have to tell you, I've done group things before and you think, nah, there are too many of us. Every time I've done it, there has always been something I've gained, even if it's with a bunch of different people. So shuffle the deck, kind of go through that as you ask and contemplate your question. Some things to think about as you're shuffling. And again, this is something if you maybe you're getting acquainted with the deck, you might consider. What was your first impression when you saw the card? You and I could look at the same card and have completely different interpretations, and both are correct. I know that when I am really in tune and really open, I'm trying to think of an example of something that means something to me that in my life where I'd be like, okay, I saw this. I'm clairaudient. I hear things, even though we're hearing aids, which tells me the universe has a really fun sense of humor. Or I'm clairsentient. I think I'm saying that correctly. I feel things. I don't know how else to tell you that. So looking at something, whatever immediately comes to you, what's your first impression of that card? What feeling did it gave you? If something gave you like, whoa, danger, Will Rogers, stop. As you're maybe doing a reading or pulling a card, maybe that's a sensation. Okay, that's like, don't go forward with that decision. What did you notice about the card? Again, we'll do some show and tell so you can see, but there might be certain things like if there's a picture of something, one thing really stood out to you, and maybe that's the key when you see that card. How does the image make you feel, think? What are those sensations? Again, I believe I've done an episode on that. There are different ways that we can access our intuition. I hear and sense things. Consider writing down your thoughts and keeping a journal. I think it's really cool. I was given a deck to review, and the first card I pulled, I was like, oh my goodness, what a great gift this is. Pulled right up of the box, pulled it what I needed to hear. And it's kind of cool if you keep a journal. And again, I love journaling because I think that's another tool to access your intuition and your deepest knowledge and see, how has this guided me? How has this supported me? And then when you're finished, express gratitude for the wisdom of the cards, for allowing you to access your intuition, and I suggest keeping them in a sacred space. They all come in boxes, you'll see in a moment, and you can keep them in there and keep them from getting dusty. And they are a sacred object like you. So considering keeping them in a safe place. Now, here are some questions that you can ask. And again, play around with this, have fun. What is it that you want answered? What do I need to know? What's the message for today? What should I focus on today? What action or response is best for me right now? What's my blind spot right now? What am I projecting onto others? What truth am I currently avoiding? What's holding me back that I don't want to face? What do I need to appreciate more about myself? What do I need to nurture in myself right now? What do I need to release? What do I need to forgive within myself? Those are just some questions to get you started, to get you thinking about. And within each box, again, all boxes have instructions. There are different spreads that you can do. And play around with it. Have fun. You pull a card maybe one day, and then a couple days later, you're like, oh, I want to try a 2-card spread. When you prepare for death, you can live your life fully. Where is all that information to your online assets, and would people know how to find it? What do you want people to remember about you? If you were to die suddenly, who would take care of your pets? Julie Caraccio can support you in end-of-life planning and organization. Visit reawakenyourbrilliance.com to learn more. Can you share an exercise using oracle cards? Well, we're going to do this, guys. I was going to have the person maybe shuffle a deck or do a little spread, but I've got us. So I'm excited to do this. So what I did was, prior to the episode, the day before, I sat and centered myself in what questions for the group, everyone benefit who's listening and watching, and specific cards or specific questions for each deck. So we're going to do 5 decks that I have. I'm going to pull a card for each. Thankfully, we have editing. I don't know if I'll I'll probably keep a little bit of the shuffling in, but it's going to take me time to open the boxes and do that. So the things I do for you guys, this will take a lot of editing. And I'm really excited about this because, again, every time someone posts on Facebook, I'm like, pick a card for me. And every time, I feel like there's something there for me that's a message that I need to hear. And I mentioned a moment ago, even though you're like, oh gosh, there are thousands of us listening, I believe there's something, you all have a certain thread that listen or watch this podcast and that's drawn to you, want to clear your clutter, you want to move forward. And there'll be a thread of something for everyone. So let me know. I'm really curious. Drop me a line if something really resonated with you. So the first one we're going to do, and if you're listening, guys, check out the YouTube channel. The universe has your back. And of course, with my stinky 2018 year, I have not looked at this deck in a while. So now, for instance, in this deck, the question I'm going to ask you is, what message do you have for me? Now, in this particular thing, these are just cards, and on her cards, she has a little instruction. Hers is one. I've seen some of them have really detailed booklets. Let's turn these all around. So my question is, I shuffle for what message do you have for me? So again, we're going to shuffle this. I'm not going to talk for a second because I'll probably edit out all this shuffling. So I'm thinking, what message do you have for all? And when I say me, me represents you all, everyone. Well, of course, me too. Like for all of our podcasts and YouTube viewers and listeners, what message do you have today? And again, let me know if anything particularly resonates with you. I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to get wild and crazy on the podcast. Okay, so what do I pull out? My energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. Where the attention goes, the energy flows. Great, I love that. So again, our message for the day, what the universe has for you, is my energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. So sit with that. Again, you might be listening to the podcast in the car, have to come back to it, but really think about that. What's that message for you? Okay. The second card is coming from the Power deck. And the question I'm going to ask is, what response is best for me now? What response is best for me now? Now, this deck comes with a little guidebook. The others, the universe has my back one, did not. Again, they are going to vary in what they contain. So I'm thinking as we shuffle, this is again what's best for the group. This is what response is best for me now. Aha. I definitely needed to hear this. Humor. And you can check out the power deck. It explains that she does things from a medicinal woman, but it says East Yellow. So if you're into directions, humor, fear, and anger awaken the power of your will. In the juxtaposition of realities, as in the primitive position in the wilderness of an urban setting, find truth. See how you've chosen your illusions, as have others, and seek to feel a laughter that holds together your daily dream. Self-importance blinds you to the source of joy and humor. Awaken the power of your will and find your laughter wholeheartedly. Awaken your sense of humor. I absolutely love that. I know that I need to improve upon my sense of humor, so I will gladly take that. The third deck we're going to explore is, I'll hold this up, archetype cards. Now this one was different. Most of these, I believe, well, Lynn's was 45. I know that I think she has more than 70. I believe the universe has 44. But again, that's why you want to play around with these. So the question I got to ask for the archetype is, what's holding me back that I don't want to face? And this one comes with a little guidebook. And I just read what was on the card. Depending on this, we need to go into depth. Then that's the cool thing. You can go and figure out and learn a little more, but we're just going to read what's on the card. But I think that like the universe ones, that was all. It doesn't come with an accompanying book. But so again, as I shuffle these, what's holding me back I don't want to face? Oh, what do I not want to face? I have to tell you guys that humor. And the other thing, I create my reality, and it's interesting with us doing the house and got all these bits and pieces. It's a little more complicated than I choose. So let's see what is holding us back, guys. What is it that we don't want to face? Uh-oh. Well, guys, the universe has our number today. Victim. Light attribute. Prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Shadow attributes. Playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity. Inability to maintain personal boundaries. So with this one, there are light and shadow. It goes into a little more detail. I went ahead and I'm going to read what's in the book here. Because I think I did an episode on victim, and I think this is huge for many of us. When properly recognized, the victim alerts you when you're in danger of letting yourself be victimized, either through passivity or rash, inappropriate actions. Also helps you to see your own tendency to victimize others for personal gain. Shadow victim shows you that you might like to play that role because of the positive feedback you get in the form of sympathy or pity. Everyone has this archetype. The goal is always to learn how to recognize these inappropriate attitudes in ourselves or others and to act accordingly. Remember, this isn't about like, oh no, I'm doing the victim. She pulled the victim card. No. This is for awareness. When we have awareness, action, we can make change. So again, that was a response for what's holding me back I don't want to face. Where are you feeling like a victim? Our fourth question is going to be, this is my newest deck. It was called, this is Practice You Daily Awakening Deck. I can't remember how. I was on some list, I think, with Sounds True that does. Anyway, I just think it's a beautiful deck. And she, again, with this one, has one little card to explain stuff and no book, but gives you, I like it. It's very simple, pretty. Look at those. Okay. So the question for 4 from the Awakening deck. What do I need to release? You know, I wasn't going to do a reading without bringing clutter in some form, right? Because what do we need to release? We need to release our clutter. So What is it that you and I and all of us connected on this thread need to release? Okay, guys, here we go. What is it that we need to release? This is today's prayer for inner dignity. Inner dignity. So that's really interesting. Inner dignity. So if what we need to release, how I view this and how I would do this if I was doing this for myself. Okay. What's the opposite of dignity? Dishonor, indecency, insignificance, unimportance, worthlessness. That can be an antonym. So that's what I need to release. I need to find my inner dignity and release my feelings of worthlessness, unimportant, being insignificant. So where are you feeling like that in your life? Where do you need to release that? How can you release that? And the fifth deck is, now that I read it, Keepers of the Light. And the question, again, sorry, I hear a little background here, guys. The hot mess. And in this deck, he has a little guidebook too. The Power deck had a guidebook. Archetype has a guidebook. The Keepers of the Light has a guidebook. Practice You and Universe do not. Again, like, yeah, you get enough information. And that's the other thing, like what those questions that I was talking about earlier. What does it mean to you when you look at that? What kind of vibe do you get? Trust that. That's again about supporting you and accessing intuition. So for 5, our last card for day, what do I need to appreciate more about myself? What do you need to appreciate more about yourself? What do we need to appreciate more about ourselves? The card is El Moriah, Awakening Presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. So we need to appreciate all the work you're doing. This is how, again, I'm tapping into my intuition, asking what the guidance for us all is, awakening presence. So honoring all the work you're doing, appreciating that about yourself. And let's read a little bit more about him. This is someone I'm not familiar with. El Moriah is a spiritual name that was given to protect the identity of Ranbar Singh, a spiritually aware man born into a powerful family that ruled Kashmir in the 19th century. It is said that he interceded both spiritually and physically to stop the British invasion of the region in 1845. This wise soul is now able to help us remove any energy from our life that is not serving our connection to God. He is a wonderful guide to call on us if we're unsure if something is real or not. He helps awaken our I am presence, which is our truest connection to our soul and to the universe of itself. So that is the short little message, and it has an extended message in there as well. So what do you need? I would say how I'm going to view that card is we need to appreciate all the awesomeness and the work that we're really doing. So bravo, guys. I have to tell you, I really enjoyed today. We might need to do an episode. I wouldn't repeat it this year unless you guys give me a lot of feedback that you're interested, but probably I would do this again. I would do this, make this an annual show. What are the downsides of using cards? I wanted to make sure that I shared this. I don't know if downsize would be the correct term, but there are some things that I want you to be aware of. Don't become addicted. I would say this for anything in life, everything in moderation. Don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to wake up and pull a card today, or oh my gosh, I got so stressed out. Where's my deck? Don't rely solely on the cards to make decisions. I view the cards to supplement, right? If you have to make a decision, maybe you can focus my energy, tap into my intuition. You are fully aware, judge everything around you. Sometimes our ego gets in the way. So use these again as a tool in your toolbox. Don't make them the basis for everything. Don't use the card as an excuse for bad behavior. You pulled a card. Well, I pulled a card this morning, and it said I had to spiritually protect myself, and so I'm going to hit you first and preemptive strike or whatever. Sorry, that's all I could come up with on top of my head. So don't use them to excuse yourself as bad behavior. Also, don't use them to ignore the truth and make them say only what you want to hear, because that's not accessing your intuition. That's not real. So if you're shuffling, you don't like the card, got to pick another card till I find the one that fits the answer that I desire. And then finally, this is again like the first one, good advice for life in general. Don't use them to manipulate others. You'd say you're going to do a reading for a friend to try to get the outcome you want. No. These are a tool in your toolbox, a force for good, and to support you in accessing your deepest knowledge. Take actions from today's podcast. Explore whether oracle cards would support you. Examine wisdom desk and what you're drawn to. Begin to use your cards. Use your wisdom deck to supplement your knowledge. Find other ways to access your intuition. Listen and follow your intuition. On next month's episode, we're talking about 1-minute wisdom. Feel the burn. Go out, clear your clutter to create the life you choose, deserve, and desire. When you clear your clutter, you can share your gifts with the world. Sign up for our free newsletter at reawakenyourbrilliance.com. If you've enjoyed Clear Your Clutter Inside and Out, please rate, review, and share us.